Happy Cinco de Mayo. Even though it would be hard to find a happy hour to celebrate Cinco de Mayo in Mexico, I think we can pick up the slack. Hola, soy Chef Michelle Bernstein. Join me as I give you recipes to celebrate what has become an American celebration. Cinco de Mayo next on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Good morning all, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein and I'm standing in the middle of the Goya Kitchen in the fabulous Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute. Seems to come around this time every year. It's Cinco de Mayo, or 5th of May. No, it's not Mexican Independence Day. It commemorates a battle in 1861. But we Americans have turned it into a night to celebrate Mexican food, Mexican music, and Mexican drinks. So I thought it would be fun to celebrate the day SoFlo style. So let's get cooking. I am starting with huevos con chorizo, or chorizo and eggs, which is what my beautiful Oaxacan father-in-law used to make us when he would come to visit. So I started cooking the Mexican chorizo, which is different than Spanish chorizo. The Mexican chorizo has a lot more like bright flavors, in your face flavors, delicious. But it's also softer in texture than a Spanish chorizo, which is much harder in texture. And so I like to cook it for a little while to get it to crisp up quite a bit. So you don't need any fat in the pan. You basically just put it in there. This is on kind of a medium-low heat right now. And I've just been kind of, moving it around a little bit, getting it nice and crisp. If it gathers a lot of fat, you can strain it before adding your eggs. This one doesn't seem to have too much fat coming out of it, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. At the same time, we're gonna start on our beans. So we are making refried beans as well to go with the huevos con chorizo. So we already cooked our beans, so I basically don't really add much to these beans. If I was making Cuban beans, it would be one thing. But to make the Mexican bean, I've just basically cooked my black beans with water. And they're right here. And it has a lot of nice, we call it the bean liquor, which is the cooking liquid in there. So I'm actually going to blend them up a little bit. Not completely to where it's absolute mush, but quite a bit. And then we're gonna add a little bit of flavor into the pot as well. I always cook my beans with about 1/4 of an onion and a couple of garlic cloves. That's just a personal thing. I think we probably have enough here. Okay, let me cover that up. So right now I am just heating oil in this pot where I'm gonna refry the beans. So let's come over here and blend them up. Un poquito, just a little. So I'm not looking to make a hard paste. And then when we refry it, it's definitely going to tighten up a little bit. Now that the chorizo has cooked and gotten a little crispy, I'm just gonna add a little bit of diced onion. I use a white onion for this. And I'm also going to add a little bit of onion to my refried bean. I love the stem of cilantro. If you watch me a lot on this show, you know that I use this a lot when I cook different things. So I am actually going to cut up some cilantro stem, which is the more tender part of the stem from the cilantro. And I'm going to add that to the oil for the bean, because I think it's just gonna pop with flavor with that. I'm also going to add a little bit of minced garlic and some cumin and some oregano as well. For topping, I have some pickled onions, which we will use liberally throughout the show because I love pickled onions with pretty much everything, but especially today, the dishes we'll be making for Cinco de Mayo. So let's go ahead and get these onions nice and soft. And then for my scrambled egg, I'm actually going to crack the eggs into the chorizo, not scramble them on the side. And let's go ahead and start mixing them up into the chorizo. This is actually one of my favorite ways to make scrambled eggs rather than to scramble them on the side. I kind of think that they become a little bit more delicate when you scramble them in the pan with the fat. This won't take very long to cook. We do have cilantro over here. I have a little avocado if you want to top it with avocado. I'm going to go ahead and pour some of the black bean into this delicious smelling sauteed onion and spices and garlic. And when you come back, we'll see how this looks. Obviously, we have our tortillas on the side and a little bit of queso cotija to go with it. And I have two more absolutely delicious dishes coming up. But of course, I've got more recipes and more deliciousness in this delicious Goya kitchen in the culinary lab at Florida Education Institute. And I'll be waiting for y'all to come back in just a couple minutes.
Come back to SoFlo Taste from the Goya Kitchen at the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute, here on Local 10.
Oh, good, you're back. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. In Mexico, Cinco de Mayo is celebrated mostly in the state of Puebla, where the battle took place, with parades and a recreation of the battle. Okay, let's get back to our celebration. Check this celebration out. Isn't this beautiful? So, huevos con chorizo, the scrambled eggs with Mexican chorizo, and just delicious, right? Dotted with a touch of the cotija cheese, the pickled onions, and of course, the refried beans a la michi on the bottom. It smells so good. All right, I can't wait to dig into that for breakfast. Let's go ahead and jump into one of my favorite dishes. We make a lot of ceviches in Mexico, but I learned all about the aguachile in Mexico, and to me, it really goes against the ceviche. It's a little bit different, and let me just teach it to you because it's so wonderfully fresh. My mouth is going crazy already. And here I have some beautiful shrimp. And I already poured a lot of just fresh squeezed lime juice and a little bit of salt in the shrimp to kind of get it ready. Now we're gonna make the aguachile part of it now. So agua, water, of chile. But there's other things that are involved in it. So let's just throw some stuff in the blender. I already started with some lime juice that I just squeezed, fresh lime. We're gonna add to it a little bit of cucumber. Let's add some mint for freshness. And I just use a scissor for that. Cilantro as well. And I don't mind using some of the stems of the cilantro in there. And then of course, some chili. So I'm gonna do a little combination of a serrano, which is longer and thinner and spicier than the jalapeno. I love the flavor of both, but one has a little more heat. Obviously, you can disregard heat. You can totally take away heat, right? If you cut your chilies a certain way, you won't find them spicy. In fact, you can even cut into a Scotch bonnet chili, use gloves, and not use the heat of the chili, just use the flavor of it if you cut around the seeds and the veins. So the jalapeno doesn't really have a lot of heat, but sometimes you never know. You might get one that will be hot. Just cut it in half. If you want more of the heat, you add the vein and the seed. If you want to remove it, you just remove the vein and the seeds. And it's really simple to do that, just like this. That's it. So this is all flavor. This is all flavor. It's delicious. No heat. But if you want to add a little bit of heat, go little by little until you get where you want to get. So I'm just going to throw the jalapeno in there. And then the serrano, same thing. Serranos, like I said, are a bit spicier. So I think I'm going to put one serrano into our aguachile. All right, hopefully I've added enough lime. I think I need a little bit more. You can also throw some like really cold water in here, helping move the blender, and it also kind of helps soften the flavor of things. So I'm just going to go ahead and juice a little bit more lime in here. I don't think I have quite enough. And you always, when you're making things like this, you know, we have this beautiful shrimp, right? And the shrimp obviously comes from our friends over at Milam's Markets, and they're beautifully fresh, really good shrimp. So when you're using things like this that are such good quality, you have to squeeze your own limes. It's so incredibly important. I think we're good. So make sure you use a good amount of salt, right? That's where our flavor is really gonna pop. And then I'm just gonna throw a clove of garlic in there. I wanna open it up to make sure there's no germ. Germ of those little, like, sometimes you have a little green germ going along the center of the garlic. That actually causes the flavor of the garlic to really stay in your mouth for a long period of time. It gets it a little stinkier. So I always remove a germ if I find it. This is obviously really fresh garlic, so luckily, no germ. All right, let's go ahead and puree this. So to serve the aguachile, you always garnish it with some fun crispy stuff and creamy stuff as well. So we've got some sliced radishes, some little diced cucumber, and a delicious, beautiful avocado. It feels like perfect. And then we fried some crispy tortillas to go with it as well. So we're gonna go ahead and pour right in. And look how pretty this is. It's just beautiful. So green, so vibrant, and the smell is amazing. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna throw this in the fridge for about half an hour, come back with it, and then we will plate this beautiful dish when you come back. As well, of course, as some new stuff. I'm here in the heart of Coral Gables in the wonderful culinary lab at Florida Education Institute. Hurry to enroll in classes that start in just days. Earn your diploma in culinary arts, pastry and baking arts, associates of applied sciences, or culinary and hospitality management. Graduate from any of these FEI culinary arts programs and begin an exciting new career. For more information, visit fei.edu/culinary-arts or call the admissions department at 305-444-1515. Learn the right way at the Culinary Lab at Florida Education Institute. See you in a minute. SoFlo Taste will return right after this.
It's a Milam's Markets Minute. Here's Melinda Harper.
So we all know that Milam's has a wonderful wine selection, the winery, but you guys have got great beer selection too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have a big selection of course, American beers, international beers from Germany, but our bread and butter are really our local beers from a lot of breweries in South Florida. And this big trend of non-alcoholic beer. We have a huge selection of zero alcohol, non-alcoholic beer. So if you're pregnant or just not into drinking, it's a good way to get the flavor of beer without actually drinking alcohol.
Show me some of your non-alcoholic selection.
So we have Stella. There's also these craft beers from Athletic Brewing, and then a mango one, which is very cool, which I would love to try.
Good. And you know what is so nice about non-alcoholic beer is beer does have a flavor. And if you love that flavor of beer and you can get the authentic taste from a Stella or the Heineken, I mean, it's a wonderful alternative. So if you're looking to buy some non-alcoholic beer, some regular beer, or maybe a seltzer, head out to a Milam's near you. And if you can't get to a Milam's, you can still buy your beer and wine online?
Online and get it delivered to your door.
Come check it out.
Hey, welcome back to SoFlo Taste and of course our Cinco de Mayo show. So much delicious food, right? We've got our gorgeous chorizo and eggs. I just finished the shrimp aguachile, which I'm dying to try. Get a little bit of that juice in there. So remember, we fried some delicious little tortillas to go with this as chips. Let's see. Oh, it's a little spicy. That's delicious. It built as I ate it. The flavor kept going. Now, for my last dish, I thought it would be great to make something simple, but that everybody loves. Who doesn't love a steak tostada? But I just want you to know that you can have that recipe, this recipe, any of my recipes all the time. All you have to do is scan this QR code for a cyberspace ride to the SoFlo Shows page where you can take your time with ingredients and recipes. You'll also see this QRC throughout today's show. Now back to May the 5th, be with you. All right, everyone. So for steak tostadas, I already bought crispy tortillas, which are tostadas. The most important part of all this is using a really good steak. So if I'm going to make a tostada, I'm going to use a skirt steak. And this is what a skirt steak looks like. We cut it up a little bit, but it's beautifully thin, beautifully marbled. This gorgeous piece of meat came from Milam's Markets. And if you need some limes, by the way, for your Cinco de Mayo margaritas or salsa with fresh ingredients, check out one of the 6 SoFlo Milam's Markets. Celebrate with Old Florida Gourmet Tortilla Chips, which are my favorite, and Glacier Organic Farms Guacamole. Visit a Milam's Market in Coconut Grove, Miami Springs, Pinecrest, Sunny Isles Beach, and Coral Gables, East and West. And check out their BOGOs at milamsmarkets.com. You can order and set up a delivery from their website too. See you at Milam's. All right, so I'm going to take that steak. I'm going to turn on my saute pan. Yes, nice and high. You want this bad boy to smoke. You will want a sharp knife. As you see, we cut them up a little bit smaller to lay them all kind of up like this. You can even go even a little bit further and cut them again in half. When you lay them up, it's an easy way to julienne them. Now, if you'd rather cook the steak whole and then cut it, you can do it. But I love going straight from pan to tostada. So after you cut them, you're going to want to season them. So lay them out a little bit. I have a little bit of cumin. I have today some chipotle powder and some chili powder. Now, you want this raging hot, right? And this is an induction cooktop, just so you know. This one came from the good folks over at General Hotel and Restaurant Supply and the Volrath Company. Visit General's Miami Lakes showroom or online at generalhotel.com. Either ways, visit them, please, for thousands of kitchen needs that makes things just taste better. All right, so last thing we need is salt, right? Good amount of salt on your steak. And then I'm going to start making the crema. So I love cremas, which is basically just means cream, but it's not really cream. I'm using a Mexican crema, which is a liquid form of like a sour cream. And what we're going to do is, first I have avocados in here. Then I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice. You know, Mexican food is delicious, and it's not simple. Mexican food is a little bit complicated. There's a lot of different ingredients and techniques. But it's one of the most delicious there are in the world. So to me, it's worth it. All right, I'm gonna add that crema to the blender. I'm gonna throw a little bit of cilantro and salt in there and blend it up. Okay, I can see that this is getting really hot, smoking just a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of simple olive oil, not virgin, and quickly cook the steak. You wanna cook it really quickly. I love a good medium rare. Of course, you can throw this on a grill as well, just the whole steak, and then cut it up afterwards. But what's great about this is we're toasting the spices as we cook the meat. And it's done. Shut that off. So let me show you what we're going to put on it, and then when you come back, we'll do it together. We've got a little bit of beautiful Oaxacan cheese grated up, pickled onions from before, some shredded lettuce, some jalapenos, and some tostadas. Come right back, taste buds, to SoFlo Taste. We'll put all this together. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to our Cinco de Mayo show. Okay, we've got steak tostadas and we need to put them together. So far I have a tostada and some lettuce. We have this fiery seared steak with all kinds of delicious spices, nice and juicy. All right, what should we do? Let's put some jalapenos on one of them. Oh, let's do it on both. Some cilantro. A little bit of our crema right in the center. Some pickled onion. And then finally, some of our beautiful Oaxacan cheese. These are steak tostadas that people will never forget. I hope I've given you some more recipes to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. It's always fun to embrace the cultures of others, especially when it leads to eating, drinking, and making merry. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all of you. As always, Taste Buds, I want to tell you how much your viewership means to me. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye, mwah, and very good taste.